Hey, what's going on, guys? Rome Gaming here, back into the video. Today's episode, I'm going to do sort of a weekly recap series, kind of, just what we're playing, what's kind of going on with the channel, different challenges that we're trying, and just kind of the progression of some of our characters. So I know that we discussed previously in one of our videos about starting a Keystone Master Challenge, and if time does permit, we'll try to bump that up to a Keystone Hero Challenge. So I made a little graphic here. And going forward for the rest of this challenge, I'm going to be using this graphic here. We can see on the left-hand side, we've got each of the different classes. The top bar for each class is going to be our item level. You kind of see it's tagged here, eye level. And then we have our Mythic Plus score. And then down here at the very bottom, we kind of have the finish line. I have eye level mostly just for like a reference point, not necessarily. The challenge isn't directed towards eye level in any sort of way. But I do think it is interesting to keep track of eye level versus Mythic Plus score to kind of see, what your eye level is in comparison to the difficulty of content that you're doing. So in my opinion, to get Keystone Master, you probably need to be around, probably like 610 for most people to be Keystone Master. And then for Keystone Hero, you probably need to be around 620 eye level to achieve that. Of course, there are outliers. If you're really good at a spec, you could probably be something like 605 eye level and get some of these. You could probably be like 615 eye level to get Keystone Hero. But again, just something that we're going to track moving forward. And then down here at the very bottom, you kind of see just sort of a percentage value of how close we are to our goal. So once we get to 1,000 Mythic Plus score, we'll be at 50% of the way. And then in the very top left, you can see we have an overall percentage here. And the way I did this is basically I added up all these values and I divided it by 12,000, right? Because to get Keystone Master, we need 2,000 times 6 different specs. So 12,000 total Mythic Plus score. And then I just added these up and divided it by 12,000. So 2056, 345, 168, 357, 172, 171, divide that by 12,000. And we get 27%. So I'll update that on a weekly basis. I don't think that this value necessarily indicates how close we are to our goal, because getting 10 Mythic Plus score or 20 Mythic Plus score up here is going to be much more difficult than getting 20 Mythic Plus score down here. But still, just looking at the raw numbers of things, it does kind of help us keep track of where we're at. And then, we're just going to kind of update this. We'll do a side-by-side comparison each week. You can see today, well, I don't know when you guys will be watching this video, maybe tomorrow on the 9th. But I made this today on the 8th. And next week, next Tuesday, we'll bring up this graph and next week's graph. And we'll just kind of do a side-by-side comparison, see where we kind of gained IO, where we didn't. And just kind of look at that side-by-side. And then, of course, once we do hit our goals, we will give ourselves a little check mark here, and we'll just kind of continue to work down the list. I'm going to try to do all these pretty much at the same time because I don't want to miss those weekly vaults. I did miss this week's vault, which was very, I don't know. I really wanted to get the Mistweaver Monk as high as I possibly could this week, so I put all my time into that. But I do kind of regret it now that I did miss those vaults because I can never get that week of vaults back again. But I really want to push for Keystone Master. I will get the Mistweaver Monk to Keystone Hero, but I'm going to chill on pushing this guy for a little bit until we can get some of our alts up. Now, a few other things that happened this week is we did get some enchants on our Mistweaver Monk. We basically had Keystone Master without like any enchants. We had an enchant on our weapon, but we got enchants for, let's see, we got like the chest, we got our wrist enchant, I think we got like our cloak enchant and our leg enchant. That was a big one. And I didn't put any enchants on my rings specifically because they're really low eye level. And I think the enchant for those were like 10K a piece or something. And I think I'm gonna get pretty good rings here pretty soon, just from running dungeons. So I'm not too worried about rings. We also got our vault this week. We got an A tier trinket, which was really nice to get. So we currently have an A tier trinket and a C tier trinket. So we want to get rid of that C tier trinket as quickly as we possibly can. I'm still hitting City of Echoes every single day, trying to get my sack brood, but I've just been really unlucky and haven't got it yet. But I know I'll get it soon. Another key that I was really happy with is we were able to 2-chest a Grim Batol last week. So not a bad run overall. Was really happy with that. We basically had a super good group here. Everybody who I ran with did over 1,000,000 DPS towards the end of the dungeon. And if you could sustain over 1,000,000 DPS, you will easily be in the 8, 9, and even 10 range. We only had like 6 deaths through the entire dungeon, so I was really happy with that. The only boss that really felt overwhelming was the second boss. So every time he changes weapons, he does a whole bunch of AoE damage. So that was kind of hard to keep up with. And then he also has his Molten Flurry. So whenever that went out, I had to pretty much pair a cooldown with it every single time. Thankfully, we weren't at high enough of a key level to where that Molten Flurry was just doing entire health bars in just a couple ticks, but I do think we'll be there within a couple key levels. And then the other sort of difficult boss was the final boss. It's a very spiky fight. There's a ton of tank busters in here. The ads do a lot of damage. And then also the Void Surge that goes out does a ton of AoE damage. I wasn't really expecting, to be honest. I was really trying to pair my cooldowns with the little Fortnite phase where you run in the circle and the 2 or 3 little purple swirlies pop up. I was kind of saving my cooldowns for that phase. But to be honest, the Void Surge probably does more damage than that phase does altogether. So once I saw that damage come out from the Void Surge, I started to panic a little bit in terms of how I wanted to use my cooldowns throughout the fight, because now I have 2 mechanics and I have to pair a cooldown with each mechanic. So I need to go back and look at that boss and just watch the video again, kind of see where most of the damage was coming from, how I could have used my cooldowns a little better. But we did get through the 8 key. So overall, just really happy with this run. This was also the highest key for us this season. Then up next, we also ran a 7 mists. And this mist actually got us Keystone Master. I didn't go into this expecting to get Keystone Master. I'd honestly kind of forgotten about it. And towards the end of the dungeon, it popped up Keystone Master. So I was really happy with that. I don't think we got any gear from this dungeon, unfortunately, but we did get the token that we could go and spend at the vendor for one of those set pieces. So we went ahead and did that. And we ended up getting the legs from the vendor, and we replaced a 584 pair of legs. So I had 30-something eye level upgrade. That was really nice to get. And I've also, over the past couple weeks, found a few new little macros and tricks and weak auras for Mistweaver Monk. So I might cover that here in a future video. But for now, I'm just trying to kind of fine-tune things and just kind of get really locked in for the remainder of this season. I think I'm pretty happy with my build right now. I'm kind of testing 1 or 2 different talents through different dungeons, trying to see, just how specific talent builds feel in specific dungeons. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the recap on the week. For the most part, just been pushing the Mistweaver Monk. We've done a whole bunch of upgrades on our character. Our vault was pretty good. We got an A-tier vault. We're able to time 8s now. We got Keystone Master. We spent our token on some leggings. And yeah, just overall, just like I said just a couple minutes ago, just trying to kind of fine tune our Mistweaver Monk. So going forward, we are going to be letting off the gas just a little bit on the Mistweaver Monk. We're still going to push for Keystone Hero, but I don't want to miss any more vault with my alt. So the main priority every single week is to get a vault on everything, even if it's only 1 slot. Just go ahead and get the vault. And we're going to, every week I'm going to try to make a video similar to this, kind of talk about the pros and cons of each spec and just try to push them as high as we can. Again, we're going for Keystone Master first. If time permits, we'll try to get Keystone Hero with a few of them. And yeah, this is to be honest, guys, this is a really difficult healing season. I know that there's a lot of drama around this season right now, but I do not think that it's more difficult than Dragonflight Season 1. And I was very curious, and I went into Raider.io and I kind of did a little bit of digging. And the Raider.io score 3 or 4 weeks into the season was actually lower. The average player Raider.io score was lower than it is right now. And that's by about 200 or 300 IO scores. So just kind of keep that in mind. It has been worse before. I do think one thing that might be different this season, though, than Season 1 Dragonflight is, sure, Season 1 Dragonflight, we probably didn't time the key, but we still completed the dungeon for the most part. From what I remember playing in Season 1 Dragonflight, we did at least complete the dungeon. I feel like now keys are just absolutely busted, and maybe 50% of the time we're timing our keys. So yeah, I don't know. I really hope that there are some changes coming to Mythic Plus soon, because this is one of the least rewarding Mythic Plus seasons I have ever played. So a lot of people are upset with it. A lot of people are just ditching Mythic Plus altogether. And to be honest, I do not blame you if you do. All right, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you all for watching. Quick shout out to my patrons. You are the ones who make these videos possible. And thank you so much just for supporting the channel and believing in the channel. If you guys enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. We'll see you on the next one.